law enforcement partners have been standing here before. We stand here yet again today. Many people have been affected by the events this morning. And our prayers and thoughts and prayers of the Harford County Sheriff's Office go out to all those affected. We are so preliminary into this investigation. I know there's a million questions. We're not going to take any questions today. I know you have many, but as Christy said, it's so important that we deal in facts. There's families that are irreparably harmed from today's event. We don't want to make it as if you could make it worse. You certainly can. We don't want to be part of that. We want to release facts, so please allow us the time to gather facts and share those with you. I'm going to give you as much information as we can right now, even though it's very preliminary and it's very limited. At about 9:06 this morning, a report came into dispatch center from the Rite Aid distribution center of shots fired. Immediately, deputies, officers, troopers, other first responders responded. We were on scene just in over 5 minutes. Arriving law enforcement, fire, and EMS units quickly paired up together, got into the building in order to render first aid where appropriate, treat patients, and in an attempt to locate a suspect or suspects. At this time, I can confirm multiple wounded and multiple fatalities. Based on what we know right now, and again, very preliminary, the lone suspect in this incident is in custody and is in critical condition at a local hospital. It appears to be a single weapon that was used, a handgun, and there were no shots fired by any of the law enforcement officers responding to the scene. We do not believe that there's an additional threat anywhere to our Harford County community. We have set up a family reunification center working with the county executive and our county partners at the Level Volunteer Firehouse. And again, this investigation is very early. I and our office will be happy to give you more information as it becomes available. Again, I ask you keep the victims of today's tragic event in your thoughts and prayers. And I also have to thank our fellow first responders. We have responders here from the federal government who were on scene within minutes, the FBI, the DEA, ATF, the state police, MDTA police, natural resources, the local municipal departments of Aberdeen, Haverty, Grayson, Bel Air, you name it. As we've seen, unfortunately, in our community before, when something like this happens, you can't have enough police and you can't have them fast enough. And we are very fortunate here that everyone works so well together and responds so well together that we were on scene and able to get as much aid in as quickly as possible. So that's what we have for you at this time. Christy will put out a little later when we're going to have some additional details, and I know you're anxious for them. We'll be as timely as we can. And the county executive did want to offer a few thoughts this morning. Sir?
Thank you. Could I get your name, please?
Sheriff Jeff Gaylor, Gahler.
Thanks, Sheriff Gaylor. Barry Glassman, the Harford County executive. I just got off the phone with Governor Hogan a few moments ago and updated the governor on the incident so far as we know it. He offered all of his resources available under state government. We certainly appreciate the Maryland State Police, all the allied agencies that responded. I followed this probably from the moment the call came in on our dispatch and listened to the radio transmissions. Unfortunately, in today's world, we have active shooter drilling and drills, and I can tell you and tell our Harford County citizens that every agency performed at the top of their profession, and the response from all our allied agencies was great. Our volunteer fire and EMS system responded with medical units. So I am thankful to all the agencies that came out to help us today to get through this, which is becoming a too often occurrence, not only in Harford County, but in the country. So with that said, we really reach out to those families that are suffering right now, that have lost loved ones, and offer our services as we begin to get them reunified, not only with loved ones lost, but with workers that have been displaced. So I certainly thank all our courageous men and women that have helped us this morning.
Sheriff, are you suggesting that the suspect shot his or herself?
Jane, we're not going to give any additional information right now. Again, this is very fluid, and you know us, we will be sure to provide you the information as soon as we have it, so follow our feeds, and I will absolutely let you know when the next media briefing will be today, and hopefully we'll be able to nail down some of those other details and give you a better picture of what
You've been listening there to a police briefing, Harford County in Aberdeen, Maryland. It's a little north of Baltimore. Horrific shooting. We are told multiple people shot. The sheriff saying multiple fatalities. You see where we are here at a Rite Aid distribution center in a warehouse area. Again, not terribly far from Baltimore, Maryland. CNN's Joe Johns has been helping track this investigation. Joe, the sheriff saying multiple fatalities. He says a lone suspect who is in critical condition at a local hospital, significantly saying that none of the law enforcement officials who responded to the scene had to fire a shot. What more do we know about this?
I thought that first question you heard that the authorities did not answer was at least telling about what people are trying to get to on the ground there. And the question was, are you essentially telling us that the suspect shot himself or herself there in the building? So a question about whether there was an attempt for this person to kill himself or herself. Also a question about the gender of the shooter. So this started around 9:09 Eastern Time, and it appears certainly that the situation is secured. The reports that we have are 5 people shot, 3 people dead, and not a lot more information there. It's been described variously by sources as a workplace shooting, which certainly could entail almost anything. So about all we know, it's a distribution support facility for Rite Aid. That, of course, is the drugstore and pharmaceutical firm with which we are all familiar. We do know also that they locked the whole thing down, and it doesn't appear like it's going to get back to normal anytime soon as the investigation continues. Back to you, John.